What's up, friends? Today I want to go over my top 10 most anticipated games coming to Kickstarter in 2021. Now, as we do this, also keep in mind that I'd love for you to subscribe and take a look at my Patreon where you can win free games. Go ahead and go there or watch the upcoming video to see how. So, without further ado, my top 10 games. Let's roll. My first game on this list is going to be Hoplomachus Victorum. Now, this is going to be a chip theory game. It's going to be in the Hoplomachus lineup, and we don't hardly know anything about this game. What we do know, though, is that Chip Theory has said it is going to be a solo game. And for me, that is exciting. In a world full of COVID and friends who move away, I don't have the group that I would like to have, and Hoplomachus Victorum is going to give me that solo game feeling in the Hoplomachus universe. On top of that, the other thing that is exciting is that I don't have everything for this system. And it says that they will be bringing a remastered edition of the existing Hoplomachus content to the same campaign. So in one swell swoop, I can get everything, right? That's exciting to me. That's what I'm looking for in a campaign. And I know that they just did Burn Cycle. They have that to put forth. I wouldn't expect this for at least maybe the second half of the year, as they continue to work on Burn Cycle and get that going. But this is almost definitely going to be a instant back for me. A solo game. It says that it has a campaign of sorts, and if you don't know anything about Hoplomachus, there's plenty out there. You can go check it out. But it's basically going to be a gladiator type game where you're in an arena trying to be the last one standing. And to see that as a solo experience with an adventure tied to it, a campaign, I couldn't ask for anything more. So my number 10 game that I'm excited for is Hoplomachus Victorum. Number 9 is going to be Slay the Spire. Now, I'm going to admit that I am probably more nervous than I am excited for this game, because Slay the Spire has been one of the main games that I play on my iPhone. I've probably, over the last year, put 100 hours into it. I absolutely adore the game. It's a great time waster, a great way to just spend the afternoon playing through a campaign. For those of you that don't know what Slay the Spire is, it's an app. You can get it on Steam, you can get it on your phone, where it's a deck building game, right? So a deck builder meets a roguelike. Every new campaign, you're going to pick one of 4 characters that you can play as, and each of those characters is going to have a different starting deck, as well as cards that you can get throughout the game. And every time you're going to be battling either a regular mob, a boss mob, or the big bad guy at the end of the act. There's also going to be question marks where you have random encounters. You never know what's going to happen, as well as a store that you can purchase items in. So there's a lot going on in this game, and to see it in board game form, 1, sounds amazing, and 2, makes me nervous because I'm not sure how good it's going to be. I think they can definitely make it a good game. The question is, will it be a great game? Will it be a game worth ever picking up over the app? It's the same problem that I had with Darkest Dungeon, which I'm still considering late pledging for, but I didn't back the Kickstarter because it looked like... When I thought about it, I never thought, hey, I would want to pull this game out over playing the game on my PC. So, once we know more about this game, once we have some information, then we're going to be able to see whether or not it's going to live up to this hype. But I am definitely excited to see what they come up with. Contention games, really not a good track record. Well, I take that back. Sorry, Contention Games. Really no track record at all. They've had one game, I believe, and I don't even remember what it was. It was nothing huge. So to be able to get an IP like this, just hopefully they're doing something right, or they had a great idea in order to be able to obtain that license. But we'll see. My number 9 most excited Kickstarter game, Slay the Spire, the board game. Man, Founder's Breakfast Stout. Nothing better. My number 8 is going to be Kingdoms Forlorn. Now, this is going to be from the company Into the Unknown, who is the same company behind Aeon Trespass Odyssey. So, they told us a little bit about this game a long time ago and haven't said much since. They have been spending all their time on Aeon Trespass Odyssey, which rightfully so. They need to get that to the backers. They need to get that out, right? I didn't back that. Aeon Trespass was definitely more a boss battler, Kingdom Death type thing, and I already have Kingdom Death. I don't need another huge game like that. Which is funny, because wait till my number 1. Hint, hint. But Kingdoms Forlorn is different. One, the art. This picture right here already draws me in. And 2, it's going to be a dungeon crawler that is built more around story and loot. And those are pretty much the 2 main things I love in dungeon crawlers is give me a good story, give me a good reason I'm here, a good reason I'm fighting these guys, and then give me awesome things that I'm picking up on the way. It's why I love D&D so much. Now, again, we don't hardly know anything about this game. We don't even know if it's going to end up coming out in 2021, but I sure the heck hope so. Kingdoms Forlorn is going to be my number 8 most anticipated Kickstarter of 2021. My number 7 is a game that I thought was going to be coming out last year, but looks like it got pushed back, Soul Raiders. Soul Raiders is going to be a cooperative narrative card game, pretty much. It's going to have be created by the best-selling author Marc Andre, who also did Splendor, as well as people who have worked in Magic the Gathering and this other thing I can't pronounce, De Architectura. So you can see here a little bit that Soul Raiders is going to have your little cardboard standees, maybe miniatures, we'll see, on these little tiles that are going to tell the story. And it's going to primarily be a card-based game as you move your characters around. What excites me most about this game is the story. The story, the layout, the fact that it is a cooperative narrative game that looks a little simpler than a lot of them. I have Otherfields back here, Tainted Grail. Those are not necessarily simple games. And I'm not saying that Soul Raiders is going to be extremely easy to play, but it looks like it's going to be a better introductory point to these kind of games than a lot of things that have come out recently. So it has a little bit of a build-up here. Tomorrow is the day. You will pledge yourself to the ancestral order of the Soul Raiders in the heart of their mighty fortress. As a powerful warrior mage, you will vow to watch over the world of Kivros and its inhabitants. Explore the ruins of forgotten civilizations, and above all, send tortured souls back beyond the Vale, where they belong. Are you ready, young apprentice, to forfeit any hope for glory, wealth, and tranquility of an ordinary life? Will you honor your pledge to this order and take arms to face this world's countless dangers? Embark for a mysterious and breathtaking journey full of thrilling adventures and stunning revelations. Join the Soul Raiders. To be such a story-driven cooperative game where you are joining the Soul Raiders faction, just the whole idea sounds amazing to me, and I can't wait to learn more. I believe this is supposed to hit Kickstarter in March now. If I'm wrong and you know something different, leave a comment below. But Soul Raiders is going to be my number 7 most anticipated Kickstarter game in 2021. My number 6 is going to be Transhumanity, which again is going to be a game that we don't know much about. This was actually announced a couple years ago, and a lot of people don't even think that this is going to come out in 2021, might even be pushed back to 2022. This is going to be from the same people who have made Anachrony and Perseverance, I believe that's the name of it. Castaways seasons 1 and 2 just went. Seasons 3 and 4, or episodes 3 and 4, are supposed to be coming out soon. Will probably come out before Transhumanity. But Transhumanity is going to be a game that sort of bridges that gap between the future and the past of the Earth, where everything you do is going to influence the fate of the Earth. You're going to be drafting and building a deck, and you're going to have to pick between either influencing your own deck or ruining the fate of the Earth. Again, we don't know a lot about it. They have this whole idea of the event called the Leap that happened and has changed mankind forever. I believe that they have said that they are actually reworking the game. There's just a lot here, but the idea that they initially put forth has been one that has kept me interested for a couple years now, and I cannot wait for this to finally come out. I was a little disappointed when they did Perseverance over this, but in the end, it is what it is, and hopefully we get this sooner than later. Transhumanity is going to be my number 6 most anticipated Kickstarter game of 2021. Number 5 is going to be Lands of Galzyr. Now, this is going to be an open world narrative game built around the idea that you are one of these critters down here, one of these little woodland creatures, right? That right there is what has drawn me into this game. Everdell and Root are in my top 10 favorite games of all time right now, and having another awesome woodland critters game, as soon as I found out about this, I was intrigued, I was interested, I wanted to know more. I know there was one on Kickstarter last year, near the end of the year, maybe November, that also was critter based. I can't remember the name of it right now. If you remember the name of that, go ahead and leave a comment below. But that just didn't really do it for me. It was a little too simple, or not dumbed down, that's not right, a little too simple. And Lands of Galzyr looks like it's going to have a little more. As you can see here, it says there's going to be 4 different adventurers, shown here, along with 400 cards, 2 trays, 48 skill markers, 17 dice, all that jazz. And the cool thing about this game is that it says that it's going to have a non-pen and paper way of saving and loading your game. What that looks like, I'm not sure. There's a video here. Looks like it might show it, but I haven't watched it. That's actually what I'm going to do when I'm done here. So it's going to be interesting because Lands of Galzyr is going to have this saving mechanism. What that looks like, I don't know. Etherfields supposedly has a saving system. It doesn't. ISS Vanguard supposedly has a little bit of a saving system coming up where you're slotting cards into little sleeves on a board or your card. So how they go about that is going to be interesting. But the fact that this has woodland creatures has me intrigued, has me excited. Let's get it on Kickstarter so I can order it. Number 5 is going to be Number 4 is going to be Quantum Shock. Now, what excites me about Quantum Shock is that I have not been pulled in by a good horror sci-fi board game. There was that Neomorphosis last year. It didn't really seem to be doing it for me. There's the new Aliens game. It's not really doing it for me. There's what's the big one? Nemesis. Again, awesome game. And that's probably the closest to a horror sci-fi game that I've gotten to that has actually pulled me in, because I enjoy that game, but I want more of that narrative story going on. Quantum Shock seems like it might be the game that I have been looking for, or at least I'm hoping that it is. I am, loving the art in this game. It looks creepy, it looks nice, but not overly creepy. It looks very, very much like a game that I'm going to enjoy, but I'm going to have to wait until the Kickstarter hits, maybe see if there's a tabletop simulator mod that I can try. And man, that's not my mother. Whose mother is that? And hopefully I end up enjoying this game, because I want a good horror sci-fi game that gives me the feeling that I had when I was playing Dead Space, or even in sometimes BioShock, and I have not gotten that feeling in a board game yet. I'm hoping this can be that. Quantum Shock is my number 4 most anticipated game. My number 3 is going to be Mythic Battles Ragnarock, which they have announced the date is going to be March 23rd, 2021. Meaning just over a month and a half from now, we are going to have Mythic Battles Ragnarock hitting Kickstarter. Now, I will admit that I did not play Pantheon. Mythic Battles Pantheon was, at the time, outside of my price range, and not something my group would enjoy. The truth of the matter is, I don't have a group that would play Ragnarok either right now, but the fact that it is filled with this Norse mythology is what's pulling me in. Let me know if you could pick one mythology for Mythic Battles to cover, what would it be? They've done the Greek, Roman thing, now they're doing the Norse mythology. Where would you have them go next? Now, Mythic Battles, if you don't know, is going to be a skirmish game. It's going to be a game where you're sort of drafting some characters and playing them and trying to destroy the other side's god first. Ragnarok, they've actually announced, is going to have less expansions than Pantheon 1.5 because they want an easier introduction to it. The $500 price tag that was the all-in for Pantheon scared a heck of a lot of people away, and rightfully so. If you don't know a game is for you, then do you really want to spend PS5 money on it, or Xbox Series X? Like, that's how much money you're spending on this board game system that a lot of people at the time didn't know if they were going to like. But that has been out, and now they are having Ragnarok. It's going to have a cheaper entry point. Now, the base game, I assume, is still going to be about $120, maybe $130, $140. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, I expect the all-in to be probably about $350. We'll see in about a month if I'm right. But if that is the case, then I might end up going all-in on this game, because even just to have all those Norse mythological creatures and monsters and heroes and gods, all the miniatures for those would almost be worth it for me. Let alone the fact that there's a decent game behind that. But go ahead and subscribe below, because as soon as this comes out on Kickstarter on March 23rd, I will be going through it and showing you whether or not I think that you should back it. So, my number 3 most anticipated game of 2021 is going to be Mythic Battles Ragnarock. My number 2 is going to be cmon in general. Right here I have Masters of the Universe up. This is a game that I am excited for and can't wait to learn more. I wish that they would They announced it last year, and I wish that they would get it up already so that I can order it and know, all right, in about a year or so I'll get it. But they are doing cmon is doing Masters of the Universe. They have the Dragon Ball Z license. They've not announced hardly anything for that. But as soon as we know anything, I can guarantee without a shadow of a doubt that I will be backing the Dragon Ball Z game, whatever it is, as an all-in pledge, because that is what I grew up on. That is like my show growing up. Master of the Universe was good as well, good enough that I am definitely wanting this game. And on top of all of that, they have recently announced Zombicide Undead or Alive, which looks to be their next Kickstarter. This is going to be a Zombicide game that is set in a Western theme. So we've done the real world for 3 seasons. We've done 2 seasons of the medieval age. We've done 2 seasons of space. Now we're going to... Oh, we've even done a 2nd edition of the original game. We've done Night of the Living Dead. Now we're doing a Western theme. And I'll be getting it, for sure. I have plenty of Zombicide to last me the rest of my life, but I'm going to get more. It's an addiction. It really is. And I like the Western theme. So, as soon as you hear more about that, come to this channel to find out, because I will be letting you know more about this, what it looks like, what they're adding, what they're changing, as soon as they announce anything. So, go ahead and subscribe so that you can see that. cmon has so many good things coming up that I just can't wait for all of them. And it sucks that we're going to have to sort of push these things out, because I want to be able to back all of these all at once and in 9-10 months just be able to play them. But that's not the world of Kickstarter. My number 2 most anticipated games are all these cmon games that are in the lineup. My number 1 most anticipated game of 2021 is going to be Sankokushin Five Sacrifices. Now, first of all, just admire this art for a minute. This is going to be the board that you play on. It's going to have a backside also that is less colorful. But Sankokushin Five Sacrifices is going to be Kingdom Death set in medieval Japan. It's going to have a bit of a psychological aspect to it, where you're playing through this campaign and you're trying to help out this town. You're trying to Yamashiro is being destroyed by the unseen. You're trying to help the city survive. And as this unseen is coming, you have all these monsters and enemies coming at you, trying to destroy the town. You gotta fight them off. It's a boss battler game with a campaign. And as we scroll down, we can see the Skull Knight picture here that we see. This art, the art is so beautiful in this game that alone makes me want it. Let alone the fact that Kingdom Death is in my top 2 favorite games of all time. And from my eyes, what I have seen about this game, it seems to be the best implementation of a Kingdom Death type game set in a completely different setting. Yes, Aeon Trespass did something like that. Oathsworn, a little bit like that. This one has caught my eye and my attention more than those. So, the base game, I believe it says, is going to come with 10 enemies. And we have a couple of these renderings here. These are going to be guys that you are fighting to try to stop from destroying your town. And they look so good. I just hope and pray that these miniatures look as good as they look here. Here's the sculpt. So here's a close up. Here's a small sculpt of it. Sankokushin Five knock it out of the park. It is at the top of a whole bunch of people's lists. It's been waited for a couple years now. And they have recently announced that they are not doing the Kingdom Death model where the all-in pledge is going to be over $1,000. That is not what they are aiming for. They want something a little more introductory. It sounds like they might have a couple add-ons, but that if they want stuff, that they will add it later. Right now they are focusing more on the core game, focusing to get this into people's hands, and then we will expand from there. That's the vibe I've gotten from them, and that excites me also because with Kingdom Death, I did not get in on the original Kickstarter, or even the 1.5. And so it felt like I missed so much. And there's so much still to come out that a lot of times you can't even purchase. There's expansions that you want that a lot of times you can't even purchase. So the idea that they're just going to slow roll this, get the base game out, maybe a couple expansions, and then build from there, sounds like a better business model to me. Sankokushin, whatever your all-in is, I'm saving for you. One day you will be mine. Let me know what games you're excited for 2021. And is there anything that I missed? Any big things that you would have put in your top 10 list? Let me know below. Be sure to check out my Patreon because I will be giving away a free game every month. You can go there or watch the upcoming video to see how you can win a free game. So, thank you for joining me. Again, let me know what your top 10 most anticipated games of 2021 are. Thank you, and as always, game on.